Welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking about an 18-year-old Canadian-Irish forward called Noel Poole, born 18th of January 2007 in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada, to an Irish father from Dublin who moved to Canada for work, like a lot of Irish people do, still to this day. He started playing around Trish with local side KYSA. From there he moved to Soccer Quest, another good youth team, and then on to Thompson Okanagan FC, until finally moving to current destination MLS side Vancouver Whitecaps in 2022, where he's currently playing his trade at under 18s level, though he has been involved in friendlies, pre-seasons and training with Whitecaps FC 2. That's the reserve side of the first team. So he's knocking on the door and where you need to be or where you want to be at 18. So yeah, he's well on course. Whitecaps FC 2 play in the MLS Next Pro League, which is basically the third tier in the US Canadian MLS system. But obviously turning out for an MLS reserve side means you're still at an MLS side, which of course, if when opportunities arise and you're turning out week in, week out for the reserve side, which he's not doing yet, but you'd imagine it's going to happen. Your next port of call is the first team, of course, and once you have that opportunity, you grab it and you make it impossible for them not to notice you and not to deny you your spot. As said, he's only 18, so not far off the Whitecap FC2 side, you'd imagine. And if he's still there and gets into the team, then he himself is only an opportunity away from the top and first team football in the MLS. All ifs and maybes, but at this moment he's on course and on target and where he needs to be, in i.e. in striking distance, and just needs to continue doing as he is and doing his talking on the pitch. Internationally, he can represent Canada by birth, Ireland via his dad, of course, and South Korea via his mum. All those countries similar levels in my opinion. They'll obviously people will say different, but yeah, in my opinion, they're all similar levels. So if and when he gets to that stage in his career at senior level, it will be more a case of who caps him first. Like again, if he's going to be good enough to play for Canada, you'd imagine Ireland and South Korea would also be interesting. So if that is the case, if that happens, it'll be more a case of who caps him first, early doors, and enough to tie him down, of course, depending on when it happens, when he's capped, and of course what his own first preference is at that stage. Football is in the family as well, with his dad Noel, a former player, his sister Fiona, also an Irish youth international, and his granddad Noel, also playing for Ireland at youth level in the past. Noel himself is also on the radar of Irish management at youth level and has been called up to training camps at under 16s thus far. They are keeping tabs on him as well, and you'd imagine if he was over this side of the waters, he'd have been capped at this stage of his game. So it's more a location sort of thing, reason why he hasn't been technically capped yet, again, in my opinion. What's next? Well, there's lots of options. He's finishing high school in the summer, June, I believe, and thereafter you'd imagine he'll have lots of opportunities on the table. For example, with the Whitecaps pushing on, continuing as he is, pushing on up the age groups and levels, moving up and hopefully signing pro terms, breaking into the first team at some stage, or moving to the Canadian Premier League, which is a similar route fellow Whitecaps former Academy Irish Canadian player Grady McDonald took, which worked out well for him. Of course, he's now in the Belgian second tier with the reserve team of top tier side Club Brugge. University soccer in the US and or Canada, and then MLS draft thereafter would be an option as well. However, again, in my opinion, that would push his pro career down the line a fair few years, which he may not want to do at this point. You know, if he's fully focused on being a footballer. And again, it's different in the US. I don't know about the cost of university in Canada, but if that's something you wanted to do, there's going to be a cost there. So again, if you can get a scholarship, I understand that's an attractive option. But over this side of the world, you could do it again with UCD. Again, as he does have an Irish passport, so that would be an option for him. And that way you could study with UCD, do a course, and then if you decide there's opportunities at a much higher level. You could put your university on hold and take those opportunities in football. While you're with UCD again, you could be playing in, depending where they are at the time, in the second tier of Irish football or the top tier of Irish football. So you're still playing at a very high level. So that could be an option as well. But in the US, the cost of university is very high, so you can't really put your, if you get a scholarship, you can't really put it on hold, take football and opportunities and go back to it. I'd imagine then you're not going to be on a scholarship, of course, and then you're going to have to incur the whole cost yourself. So I understand why people do it, but if your sole focus is on being a footballer, maybe you don't want to push it down the line, just playing college football for 4 years, putting your pro career on hold. So yeah, it's a tough decision to make for people. Of course, he could move back to Ireland in the summer, trialing with a team in the League of Ireland's top 2 tiers, getting picked up hopefully and breaking into a first team here. There is ownership now in Treaty United that is Canadian origin, so that's a path that I think they said somewhere that they're looking to bring in more youth from not just Canada but also Canada into Treaty United, so that'll be another route. And there is other options. The Canadian market, youth market, is seen as a good talent pool and a good opportunity for the League of Ireland and again for Canadian youth players. So there's going to be lots of Irish route options open to him, and the fact he has an Irish passport, European passport, as a result, opens up that whole avenue too. And of course, without downplaying it, Ireland can be seen as a stepping stone into the UK market as well. The fact he's 18 with an Irish passport means there's no visa restrictions on him going there either. If he was making a decision imminently, i.e. in the summer, League of Ireland or Scandinavian leagues like Sweden would be an option. A lot of players, a lot of Irish young talent starting out are going to Scandinavian countries like Sweden, and that would be, again, he'd be going straight into the mid-season there, mid to first third of the season in the summer. Well, I suppose in June it'd be mid-season there in Ireland or in Scandinavia, a lot of leagues in Scandinavia, so they'd be options too as they play the calendar year summer league, where he could hit the ground running. Or again, he could hold off and perhaps hold out for other leagues who run the more traditional route in Europe of August to Mayish time frame, again perhaps UK or Northern Ireland. But of course there are plenty of other routes worldwide available in Europe and worldwide. So really he just needs to work hard on the pitch, hone his craft, focus on where he really wants to go. Does he want to focus solely on football, and if so, if that's his priority, just assess all his options and routes and choose the one which works best for him on and off the field and best for him on the pitch, with the end goal being, of course, to get that vital week in, week out first team football, and then move on up the gears, levels, leagues in his career. The pedigree and determination, hard work and talent is there, and a bright future no doubt beckons. If you liked the video, send us a like, subscribe, or leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Or buy us a coffee at the link in the description. And as always, we'll be watching.